You can't help but notice in the media and the politics is awash with a potential World War III, whether it's coming from Russia, China, the Middle East, even North Korea's having a little dig. And they recently debated whether they should discuss mandating conscriptions to the military because there's a shortage of military personnel. People don't want to fight anymore. In 1939, when the Second World War was declared, people were queuing up to fight. You wouldn't get it anymore because, well, for numerous reasons, really. I mean, you've got to want to fight for something. And what do people want to fight for now? I mean, you've got the immigration problem, for example. The government have basically let the UK down. They promised that it would solve immigration. It's got worse. And when you see stories of immigrants being housed in five-star hotels and how our housing shortage is affecting the indigenous British people and our jobs market, and you apply for a job and all are given to jobs to us, to our asylum seekers, and all are given the houses to our asylum seekers, and you find a lot of these asylum seekers are rapists, murderers, paedophiles, even terrorists, and the only reason why they let them stay is because they said they was homosexual or they convert to Christianity. So these kind of things, of course, it's propaganda, it isn't necessarily true, but that's what's going to be in the indigenous British people's minds. I'm not saying every immigrant's like this, it's probably a small percentage, probably like 1%, but in British people's minds, it's going to be everyone. And so this is going to make them less inclined to fight for the government because they don't trust the government anymore. And other issues as well, with inflation and everything, taxes and everything, there's other reasons. And also got the fact, I mean, 22% of the British population is currently not born in the UK. And these 22% are not going to have patriotism, they're not going to have the same patriotism that people who are born here have. And even the 78% that are born here, a lot of them are going to have some sort of ancestry. They're going to have something that a lot of them are not going to be from the UK originally, and they're going to have some maybe the parents or the grandparents are going to be from the Africa or the Caribbean or Islamic countries or Eastern Europeans. So they will probably harbour a lot of grudges against the United Kingdom as well for its colonialism and whatever else is happening. And if they are Muslim, they're probably not going to like the UK because the UK is considered a Christian country. You know, it's more of an atheist country now. But these are kind of psychological things that are going to be going through people's minds. They're not going to want to fight for this country. They're less inclined to fight for this country, less inclined to die for a country that their ancestors did not belong to. And obviously, in the Second World War, probably 99% of the population was indigenous, and now it's probably like 40%, maybe 30%. I'm not even indigenous. I've got Irish ancestry. Yeah, the UK is very mixed. We've also got the feminism. The feminism has belittled men, it's weakened men, it's crushed men, it's feminized men. It's done nothing good to men at all. And these strong, healthy men have been feminized. They're no longer strong. Men are no longer strong. And also, you got the fact that men during the Second World War fought for their mothers. They died for their mothers, their fathers, their grandparents, their sisters, their wives, their girlfriends if they had them, their daughters. Men had this idea that they had to fight for women. Now men have got this idea, well, bitches want equality, go and fight yourself. That's the mentality. So men are not going to want to fight for women anymore because women want equality. So men are more likely to say, wait, you want it, you have it. And also men have been really belittled by women. Have been really disregarded by women. We've been basically told we're useless and stuff. So men are going to think, well, why should I fight for somebody who's really called me useless? And so that's gonna prevent men from fighting for women. And our mothers, our fathers. I mean, we don't have families like we had in the Second World War. In the Second World War, it was a nuclear family: mother, father, kids. Father worked, mother stayed at home, looked after the kids. This no longer happens. A lot of kids, I don't know about most, but a lot of kids don't know who their fathers are nowadays. And the few that do have got some sort of negative resentment towards them. And also the mothers aren't mothering the kids anymore. Mothers are not cooking for the kids, they're not baking for the kids, they're not staying at home for the kids, they're dumping the kids in front of games consoles and feeding them junk and sending them to daycare and creches and with grandma so they can go out and get pissed on the weekend or get a job and go to the hairdressers and look good and get hair extensions instead of spending time and money on our own kids. The kids are growing up, especially the boys, who will be expected to do the fighting. They're going to say, look, listen, why should I fight for my mother? Why should I fight for my father? I never knew the bastard. Why should I fight for mother? She never raised me. And that's what a lot of boys are going to grow up like. They're going to be less inclined to fight for their mothers. And also we've got the diversity, equity and inclusion, which is discrimination against white, heterosexual, able-bodied guys. If you're a strong, able-bodied white guy, you are discriminated against. As soon as you tick that box on the job application form, they don't want you, because then employers are encouraged to employ the coloured people, the diverse people, the women, the gays, the disabled. And if you're seeing people taking your job, you can't physically do that job, and that you wanted, that you could do, and you can't get a job because you're white, heterosexual, able-bodied guys, you're going to grow more resentment towards society and the government that allows this to happen in. So the strongest people in society, who are getting fewer and fewer because more men are emasculated now. So the few remaining strong, heterosexual, able-bodied guys are not going to want to fight. And if you take into consideration, obesity is a lot higher than it was in 1939. I mean, what was obesity in 1939 for young men? Probably 1%. It's now 1 in 3. So these men are not going to be physically able to fight. And the mental health issues amongst people nowadays, including young men, is extremely high. The suicide rate amongst men is apparently 3 times higher than women. So men are obviously suffering more, which I blame feminism for mostly. But so the few strong men that can go to fight, that haven't got their mental health issues, that haven't got their physical health issues, are not going to want to fight because they feel that they are being discriminated against. They feel that they haven't got enough to fight. They're not going to want to die for a mother they barely knew. They're not going to want to die for women. They're not going to want to die for their fathers. They're not going to want to die for a country that discriminates them and favours immigration and the diverse, so on, so on, so on. And this is why we've probably got a shortage of military personnel. And we've also got the COVID pandemic. Most people are waking up to this nonsense that was an hoax and the government were partying and mandating jabs and discriminating people who had the jabs. A lot of people feel betrayed by their governments. They feel like their governments invoked Nazism on them, and they're not going to fight for a government that betrayed them so much. Our free speech is gone. Unless you're a part of a diverse culture, unless you're a black person or a woman or a homosexual, you've got no free speech. If you say things, you get accused of bigotry. You know, the blacks can use the N-word all the time. They can criticise whites. Whites can't do the same back. Women can use misandry and criticise men, and if men become misogynistic, they get criticised, they get condemned for it. The gays, the LGBT, well, they can get away with everything, especially if they're trans. So the strongest men in society are the most oppressed now. And I am part of that. I'm part of that elite group. I am part of the masculine males in society that has no health issues, mental or physical, that is really strong, really equipped, really able, and not getting the opportunities because of who I am, of what I am, because of this strength. And so yeah, I mean, people like me have lost my patriotism. I never really had a patriotism, but there's people who have lost it, and they're going to lose it even more. The more this government betrays us, this minority in society that has no mental health issues, that has no physical health issues, that is white, that is strong, that is masculine, that is heterosexual. We are the people that should be fighting. We are the strongest in society, and we are very few. And me personally, as far as I'm concerned, if Putin wants to invade this country, I would say, look, come. I wouldn't do anything. Now, I just went on one subject I probably forgot to mention, the socialism. These vegan, pale-faced socialists that are trying to spread all this peace stuff and hippie, be good to others and others will be good to you, welcome all immigrants, and feminism is great, and don't kill animals and stuff. These people are very weak-minded. These are the people that are going to welcome any invasion with open arms. We will look after you. We will take care of you. Please be nice to us, and we'll be nice to you, kind of thing. This is idealism. So it's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to want to fight anyway because of that. So yeah, I think if Russia or China invades or whoever, I think a lot of people would just say, well, just come. I couldn't give a shit.